Recording.
All right, we're back. That's right. After all this time, we're back. And I just have to tell you, I'm sorry. I kind of got accustomed, and this became something of my support system to some degree of sharing a video fairly consistently, maybe 2 or 3 times a week or more in some cases. But things got crazy, and I think some of you that do pay attention know that my work has gone and got stupid. And this person's been giving me a hard time and making life in general shite. So, I've just kind of internalized all of that and just been busy and doing my projects and just keeping a lot of that stuff to myself. Things aren't better, but the hell with it. I got some stuff I want to talk about. And the topic of today is the DRZ4S and DRZ4SM. They're, especially the SM, some people are starting to get some of them. I'm seeing on some of these groups, DRZ owners, real DRZ owners, and etc., etc. They're appearing in, people are sharing that they have them, and obviously they're going through their break-ins, and people are being good, and they're doing what you should do, and they're doing a true break-in. And these people don't know where the hell they're going. Just hitting brakes. Oh, now they're doing a turn signal. Yeah, they're lost. They don't know where the hell they're going. But there's people that are starting to get them in, and they're starting to ride them. And some people are doing some reviews, particularly on the DRZ4S, and they're talking about a lot of different things that the features of it, and some of the things that people are talking about particularly is how quiet the engine is and how easy it is to get around. And we're talking about the DRZ4S, and apparently from what I gather, it's got kind of since it's all EFI with it's ran by I'm guessing a servo motor or motor, because it's throttled by wire. When you release the clutch, you can almost just, I don't think if you go real hard with it, but if you release the clutch, it'll just have your assist mode, kind of like an anti-stall thing on it. So it'll idle up enough to keep it going. And I could see how that would be advantageous. But what they really need for that, in my opinion, just because I don't think it's really necessary at all, any of that. And I'd work against it probably. I'll know when I ride one, because hopefully I will ride one, an SM. But hopefully somebody will figure out a flash where you can turn all that crap off. Because I don't want it. And especially to do wheelies and any type of that stuff. But I want to really take a look at these things and look at how they change the frame in person to see, okay, this is how they changed it. What's the oil capacity? Good grief, I can smell somebody has had to have sprayed a bunch of shit on that farm, because I can smell their pesticides. It's probably giving me cancer right now. God, I wish we could just get away from that. But anyway, I want to look at the oil fill, the oil check. I want to look at all of that. I want to look at the capacities on it. I think they have confirmed that the fuel capacity has decreased. But something that stands out to me that people are talking about, especially this one particular channel, I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, good grief. Swanky Cat. he was talking about the fact that on the display he had a fuel capacity or a fuel gauge. That's pretty handy. That's a big upgrade. That's a big upgrade. So that would be a big thing. There's some deliberation as to whether or not the final drive, or not final drive, but the internals have changed. I want to see how that is. You know, if on the SM it's still 1541 on the final drive gearing, and help me out, is it 1444 for the S? I don't know. I don't have a lot of that information. So, you know, what are the kind of the top out speeds? What's the RPMs? Do they have a TAC? I don't remember if it has a TAC factory or not on the DRZ4S. I want to look at all that stuff. I want to look it over. I want to see how difficult it's going to be to put a aftermarket exhaust. Supposedly Barker's was going to do some R&D and get one made. That'd be the one that I would go with. Apparently Yoshimura has one that they've developed and is available. I'd like to see that. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to see, you know, how they were going to establish a way to either flash or, you know, have a aftermarket fuel management system so you can get the most out of it. I want to see those things. I want to know about it. Very pertinent information, especially on people that don't want a completely silent bike. Some people do. And it sounds like they're pretty snappy for what they are out of the gate. I want to see about that. I want to feel it. I want to experience it. So I'm not really sold on the colors that are available for the SM. What is that? Like that little, I don't know, it's kind of this bluish color. What is the other one? White. I need to have a gray like this one. I want to see what people are going to be able to come up with for their aftermarket, for that headlight, to delete that headlight, because it looks like crap in my opinion. I mean, Suzuki, can you get, I mean, I'm sure JNS is probably already on it. Hopefully they got something that'll go on there that'll look a little bit more modern, but not too modern like how that one is. I don't know. It just seems a little overly complicated. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about is, you know, when is someone more local? When am I going to be able to take a little test ride on one of these things? Because I know I'm not going to get on one. I'm not going to get on one by going to one of these test events or test ride events, because I don't want to drive all over hell and back to take a look at one of these. So yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about. I think we're going to do like a second part of this because I'm running really late to get to the gym. I do have a big upgrade that's going to come for this bike. We're going to have a MotoMaster. Yeah, we're just going to go there. I'm going to have a MotoMaster 320 rotor and MotoMaster 4-piston caliper for this thing as soon as it gets to me. So I'm pretty excited about that. Lady didn't know what she was doing. And there's some real winners around here. But anyway, hopefully we'll have a part 2 to this. We'll see.
Recording.
All right, we're back, and this is the second part to this. I'm just going to edit it together. And we got our lift on, so that's pretty good. I'm wanting to talk about the features of the new DRZ 4S and SM. I just wish they would have just left it alone as far as the name, because it's a DRZ. Now we'll just call it a DRZ. Just like we was almost going to call that tow truck failing to yield. But, you know, apparently they want to differentiate themselves. You know, I mean, it got the KLR treatment. It got, the DRZ did. So, it's pretty much the same bike, but it's got EFI. But this EFI is throttle by wire, which, we'll see how it does. But I'm cautiously optimistic, but wouldn't be surprised if it's not as good as it should be. So the features for the S and SM, you're going to have things that are very similar. I'm glad to see that you have some, well, again, from what I can tell, some congruence. You have an inverted fork system on both of them. Now my question is, how different are the ergonomics on it? I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the specs. I haven't pulled them up yet. Maybe they're available. So like, how similar is it going to be, the S to the SM settings? Are you going to have a different throw? Are you going to have a different rake on the S and SM? Like what is it going to be? I don't know. I'd like to know. And how intrusive are the ABS? Is the ABS? How intrusive? How easy is it to turn off and turn back on? And this and that. Does it remember it from when you cycle the key off? Is there a way to just shut everything off? Some people are saying yes to some things, and there's different settings. Hopefully there's some sort of wizard that has a way where you can just turn it all off if you don't want it on. Hopefully when people go and get that exhaust done, or if there's an airbox modification, that's another thing. Is there a 3x3 on that? How does that look? I want to see it all. So, that's kind of the conclusion. Not really a conclusion. Those are things that I'm curious about. And the other thing that I want to talk about is it good? What if it's good? As we saw the price increase on these models before they went and changed them, we got to be aware of some things. The DRZ, could not be $5,000 forever. Inflation is a bastard, and I hate it. And so with it being the price that it is now, what are they? $9,000? Is it $999? And then you get some options on them. What is it going to be? $10,000 out the door? I mean, what's it all going to be? Is there going to be some places that are going to work with us? Something that I'm hoping for is when Jake gets his media bike or his bike through, I think it's going to be through Fanadom. One of the things that I want to do is I want to make the trip down there, and I'd be willing to sacrifice a track day trip as far as for the big track. I'd be willing to sacrifice that to go check it out. So hopefully Jake gets that, and he and I can go ride one. There's a chance he could get two of them, his and his, for a video or two, or maybe we can just do some analysis, some of that stuff, and that way we could make some comparison. So I mean, hopefully by then he has two of them, one of them with and without an exhaust and a tune. That'd be really curious. I'd be also curious if what kind of a tune, the benefit of tune on a stock setup would be, with possibly an airbox mod. Hopefully there's somebody working on that. Those are all things, because what if this thing does hit a little harder? What if it is good? I want it to be, but when you go messing around with EFI, you have this painful thing that happens. You have to have some equipment to be able to flash it or tune it and do it right. With this thing, you just got to be not an idiot and have some jets. And even that goes even for the stock carburetor. You can jet up or jet down to fine tune some things. And we've been known to do that. Some of the wheelie guys don't like the stock, or the, not stock, the jetting JD recommends for a full exhaust and airbox mod. So a lot of times instead of a 170, we put the 165 in those. And that's, I think, for good reason. Because usually when they're back there at, the deep wheelies that these things can do, you end up overfilling the bowl. So when you overfill the bowl slightly, what ends up happening? A jet ends up acting richer than it actually is supposed to be because it's immersed in deeper in fuel at that angle. A lot of people don't like that, so I mean, what do? You can mess with float height, you can do this, but when you're horizontal or you're riding it like a sane person, it doesn't run correctly either. So it's that double-edged sword. What are you going to tune it for? Are you going to put up with a little bit of a bogginess, or are you want to kind of turn it down a little bit? Well, that's something that you can do on a dyno, or you can use the butt dyno and the common sense method, and a person that's mechanical method, like me. But anyway, that's kind of our discussion here, and it's kind of a speculating conversation. How about that? We can do that. Hopefully my opinion is different, and I do intend to opine. Should we pull a wheelie? I think we should. Yeah, still know how. We shifted to fourth there. We're in fifth now, by the way. I'll set her down. We got a car coming. But how easy is it to do that? I want to know. I want to feel it. Is it going to bonk? And something that the EFI proponents that are on supermotos, what is it they're going to like about that? Well, that means you can drop way back. Hopefully you can drop way back and not have the carb problem. See, I don't go back that far, but if I went back much farther, it's going to get a little... It's going to let me know about it. So, with that said, ooh, that might have been a sheriff up there. I'm glad I set her down. With that said, I always say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Make sure and like and subscribe. Share. Bye.